Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is Sensible Makeover, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. So today I'm going to be doing a soft glitter makeup tutorial, but before we get started, please do not forget to subscribe and let's jump straight into this video. So I'm going to be cleansing her face with my Blossom micellar water. This would help remove dirt on her face. Then next, I'm going to be using my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to hydrate her skin. Then I'm going to let it absorb into the skin before moving on to the next process. So next, I'm going to be using my Rachéskincare Glow and Shine Deep Moisturizing Lotion to moisturize her face. So next, I'm going to be drying it up with this fan. Moving on to primer, I'll be using my Gentle Dove mattifying primer on the oily areas on her skin, especially her T-zone area, the bridge of her nose, her chin. These are the oily areas on her skin. That's where you apply your mattifying primer. So next, I'm going to be using this hydrating lip balm from Zaron. This would help moisturize your lip. It would help with any lip application you're going to be using. So it's always good to moisturize the lip. So next, I'm going to be using this liquid highlighter from nubanbeauty. This would help me achieve a glowy base. Sometimes I mix it to my foundation, but today I'm applying it directly on her skin. So moving on to foundation, I'll be using this half cast flawless foundation. I'm just going to use my brush to apply it first on her face before blending it into her skin. So next, I'm going to be hydrating her skin. This will help me blend in the foundation. Then I went ahead using my beauty sponge to blend the foundation on her skin. So next, I use the same Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to lock in the foundation. Then I let it dry a little. Moving on to contour, I'll be using my Zikel foundation in the shade 020 to contour her face. So next, I use the same foundation to contour her nose. So moving on to cream blush, I'm going to be using my Blossom lip palette. I'm just going to mix these two shades of orange color and apply it above her contour. Then I blended it with my beauty sponge. So moving on to highlight, I'll be using these two shades of concealer. I'll be using my Flawless Ivy concealer in the shade Creamy Ivory on the outer corner of her face. Then I'll also be using my LA Girl Pro concealer in the shade Creamy Beige on the inner corner of her face. Then I went ahead using my beauty sponge to blend in the concealer on the highlighted area. So now that everything is well blended, I'm going to be setting her face with this Merak setting powder in the shade Ginger. But before setting the face, I went back with my beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath her eyes to avoid creasing. Make sure you blend these areas before setting the eyes, and also tell your model to look upwards. Then I'm using my puff to set gently. You want to gently apply it. So make sure you take a little amount of setting powder to avoid patches. If you pack too much setting powder, you will not like the outcome. So gently dab on the areas you highlighted. So next, I'm going to be setting the rest of her face with this Zaron brown skin powder in the shade Ray. So I'm just going to use my powder brush to set the rest of her face. So for dry contour, I'm going to be using this shade from my Adventure Oil Control Powder palette to set the areas I applied the cream contour. So So next I'm going to be using the same shade to contour her nose. So next I'm going to be applying this light shade on the areas underneath her eyes. Can you see how flawless and well blended everything is? So next I'm going to be setting it with this Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. So I dried it up with my fan. Next I'm going to be baking her face with the same setting powder. So next I'm going to be using this Zaron powder to do her reverse contour. This would help lift the face up. So moving on to the brows, I'm going to be using my spoolie brush to brush her brows first. Then next I'm going to be using my brow tab. This would help lay the hair nicely. So next is to outline the brows. I'm going to be using my Karite gel liner, the brown shades. I'm just going to use my angled brush to draw it. So next is to highlight her brows. I'm going to be using my Flawless Ivy concealer in the shade Creamy Ivory to highlight her brows. So next I used my blending brush to blend the concealer afterwards. So for the top of her brows, I used the same foundation I used on her face to highlight the top of her brows. To set the concealer, I'm going to be using this light shade from my Adventure Oil Control Powder palette to set the concealer underneath her brows. Moving on to eyeshadow, first you want to prime your lid. So I'm using my Viange eyeshadow base to prime her lid. So moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to be using my Blossom eyeshadow palette. So I'm just going to take this shade here and apply it on the outer corner of her lid, blending it towards the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to apply this dark brown eyeshadow on the outer corner of her lid. So next I blended it towards the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to be applying this shade above her lash line. So next I'm going to be applying this shade on the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to be applying a little glitter glue on the inner corner of her lid. So next I'm going to be applying this golden glitter from Glitter-luztas Cosmetics. So I already applied the glitter glue on her lid, so I'm just placing these glitters on the areas I applied the glitter glue. So next I'm going to be lining her upper and lower lash line with this Karite gel liner, the black shade. So next I'm going to be prepping her natural lashes with this Zaron mascara to give it volume. So next I'm going to be using the same Zaron powder to powder her face again and make sure everything is well blended. And next, I'm going to be dusting out the excess fallout from the eyes. So moving on to powdery blush, I'm going to be using my Tara blush palette. So I'm just going to take this shade here and apply it on her cheeks. So next, I'm going to be wearing her this African Beauty lashes by Soso. So next, I'm going to be using my powder brush to blend everything together. So now that everything is well blended, I'm going to be setting her face again with this Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. So now that her face is well blended and dry, I'm going to be putting some highlighter on her face. I'll be making use of these two highlighter. This is Nubanbeauty highlighter and Maivels Glow Dust. So I'm going to be applying the Maivels Glow Dust first before adding the Nubanbeauty highlighter. So next, I'm going to be using this lip pencil to outline her lip. So next, I'm going to be blending it with my blending brush. And next, I'm going to be using this Nubanbeauty lip stain in the middle just to brighten up the lip. So next, I added a little gloss on her lips. So next, I'll be applying mascara on her lower lashes. And lastly, I'm going to be using my fix spray to set everything together. So guys, this is the final look. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys. As you fade away.